Hi everyone. Good morning. Welcome. Just rearranging my desk. How's everyone doing? Real good? An hour early in Europe. Is it all of Europe or just some of Europe? I know the UK's changed. I think it's all of Europe, right? Some things you're still in sync with and some things you're not. Yeah. Aye, laddie. Ian's in great form today. Yeah, I want to, Julian. I want to talk about the US election. I don't know how it's going. I haven't looked. I want to know. Either way, they're screwed. Either way, yeah. An hour and 15 minutes? Why is it not a... What? Who has a 15-minute change? Thanks, Gary. Well, it's a... Yeah, new logo. I've been transitioning for a while. Taking my time. Well, I'm going to change daylight saving change to be 53.4 minutes. Hello, Flynn. Well, it's a much simplified version of my original logo. It's funny, I decided to take the saw and everything off my logo because I've been doing mostly electronics, and then in the last 3 weeks I've done more woodworking than I've probably done in the last 2 years. Definitely more woodworking than in electronics, so I thought that was kind of hilarious. But yeah, just a simplified logo. Not going to turn the TV on for 2 days, Christopher? I want to know how it's going. I really do. I'm predicting that Trump's going to get back in. I didn't say that's what I want. Look, I'm not an American. I don't live in America. Whatever. But that's what I'm predicting. Anyway. Found a new Oz person to watch. Agro? What? Okay. Julian's predicting a riot. Yeah, like, I don't want to discuss... I'm not interested in discussing politics. I don't think we should be discussing politics. I'm just curious to know how it's going. That's all. But I'm happy to not talk about it and talk about something else. Yeah. It's definitely a country divided. Yeah. Okay, so... Why am I in top chat? I don't think there's been enough chat to change it, but hopefully I won't lose. Oh, I did. I just lost half my chat. Damn. Oh well. I'm gonna say hi to everyone that is left on my list. Before I do, so last week I was sitting here with the heating on, with goosebumps, freezing. Today I'm sitting here with the air conditioning on, in shorts, because it was 20 degrees at 6 o'clock this morning. So, Agro's cartoon... Oh, that is hilarious. Agro's cartoon connection. Wow, that's a blast from the past. That's a blast from the past. Okay, no election talk. No election talk. Yep. Okay. So, let's hi to people. I apologise if I miss anyone because, as I said, I just lost half my chat. But Paul, good morning. Rhoda, hello. Joe, Intimate Tech, Graham, Flynn, yes, hello Flynn, and SpongeBob, and Teddy. Michael, hi. Tiny LED Matrix, or Alex. Julian, good morning. Mark, good morning. Christopher White, hello. James Sharman, hello. Netcastle02. A net castle. Castle made out of nets? Christian, hello. Joe Wasson, I hope I got that right. If not, I apologise. John Meeking, hi. Crazy Roops, Monster Mark, Ian Scott Johnson, Stephen Mott, hello. Dustin Watts, Kuka737. Yay! Yay! Sorry. Gary T, hello. Michael Stevens. Sven Musters, hi. Tishipu's here. Still scrolling. Adam Bryant, hello. Clifford Bradley. Bradbury. Oh, sorry. I always stuff up someone's name. It's usually my own. What James says, in the Northern Hemisphere it's not daylight savings, it's morning people stealing an hour of light from us night-minded people. Ouch. Hey Kevon. Hey Henrik. Hello Eric. Hello Reg. Lurking from the UK. Lurking is allowed. Just say hi to Joe and on. If I did already, I'm saying hi again because I can't remember. Simon, hello, Death Shaker. Oh, Death Shaker was number 1 on the list and I missed him. Didn't get to say him first. Hello, Kai. Distract us with electronic shenanigans. Well, I've got news. Station 240, hello. Peter S, hello. Jonathan Carstens, hello. Okay, I'm going to get this wrong, but is it Titanus Magic? I hope so. Hey Marius. Hey Brad. I think I'm all caught up. Yay. Okay. So, drum roll news. I'm not going to drum roll. Not with my fingers. My Neoden 8 is shipped. Yay! It did ship late again. So 3 delays. It shipped on the Saturday instead of the Friday, but it's shipped. It's on a boat. That ship has sailed. So they say, but in this time it's a good shipping sail. Shipping sail? Sorry, I'm in a really weird headspace. So that's great news. When is it arriving? I don't know. Do you just pop out the participation list or scroll through everyone? I scroll through everyone. I scroll through the chat. But unfortunately, sometimes I forget to change it to live chat straight away and between top and live. And when you switch it, depending on how much chat's in there, it truncates it and you lose a large chunk of the history. That's what happened just then. But yeah, I actually scroll through the whole chat, which is why it takes me so long and why I miss people and why I say hi to people twice because I can't remember. Yeah, like Dave Odessa. Hello, Dave. I know I missed you. There you go. See? There were people that jumped in and said hi earlier that I lost from the chat. Yeah, the whole world's going crazy with lockdown again, just as we come back out of it, which is good. What I'd really like is an end to the masks. That would be great, but we have no ETA on that. As it's getting warmer, wearing a mask is becoming really difficult, I gotta say. It's hard to breathe. Anyway. Okay, so that's that bit of news. What else can I tell you? What other news have I got? Sometimes you can switch it and it wipes the whole chat because YouTube. Yeah. I got your name right. That is awesome. I can't even get my own name right. Sometimes. It's getting colder for you, warmer for me. I like it somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle, maybe a bit towards the colder side. I don't like being uncomfortable in the heat. I really don't. So I finally got around, and I'm glad I waited because it changed, but I finally got around to putting up some instructions to how to get your Feather S2 into UF2 bootloader mode, or how to install the UF2 bootloader. James, that might be true, but here it's law. It's not suggested. It's actually illegal to not wear a mask. Finable offence. So until the government actually say, the Victorian government actually say masks are not mandatory, we're stuck wearing them. And there's rumours it's going to go till March. And I really hope not. I really hope not. Singapore is the middle. Let's all go to Singapore. Singapore's also very expensive. Beautiful place. Have you ever been? I like Singapore, but it's quite expensive. I wouldn't want to live there, I don't think. And it's really humid. Anyway, so Anyone that got my original feathers from me or from Adafruit from the first batch of 50 that they had, they would have got, although I think I shipped it with Beta 1, Beta 0, Beta 1, and then RC1, I didn't have the UF2 bootloader on there because it wasn't ready at the time. There was no APA support. So I added APA support to it, which got merged into mainline, and I've started shipping all my boards with the UF2 bootloader. What's a feather? It's something that birds have. Some birds, not all. And I've been meaning to put together, I was going to put together a video tutorial on how to do it, but because it's complicated, because when you have to compile the bootloader from source, and it gives you 4 blobs instead of 1, and it's a bit of a pain. But I worked out a sequence where I did it myself, grabbed all the blobs, and zipped them, put them up on my website, and you can just download them now. Download the blobs, install, make sure you got the latest ESP tool in dev mode, so it's running in 3.0 dev, and then, as you can see here, 3.0 dev, and then you can just run ESP tool to flash. That's the results you should get. And then you can just drag CircuitPython firmware on. It's really cool. Hey, you Pessy, hello, and Photochromax, hi. And who else did I miss? Anyone? Julian has been to Singapore, yes. Working outdoors in 36-degree heat with a mask wasn't fun, but it's snowing these days and they're beneficial. Right, in the cold it was quite nice. It kept my face warm when I was breathing, but not so good in the heat. Hello, Gustus. So anyway, that's exciting, but I'm glad I waited because the UF2 bootloader was actually in 3 different repos. There was an ESP32 S2 version, like an ARM version, and whatever, but that's all been merged into one now that's just called Tiny UF2. So Hatch did a really great job in doing that, and so I waited till yesterday because it was merged yesterday to do this. And I've had a few people come back to me and say it works, which is great. So if you have a Feather S2 that didn't have the UF2 bootloader on it, the URL, it's not linked from the main website yet, Feather S2 website, because I wanted more people to confirm it's working okay, but that's the link to get to it. I will put it onto the main page. Right now the main page says, I've added some FAQs, and to say if it doesn't go into UF2 bootloader, it's probably because you don't have it, and it points you to now a GitHub repository that isn't there anymore because it's been renamed. I'll fix this today. Yeah. But anyway, give it a go. Give it a go. I've travelled a lot of Europe, actually. I've been to, yeah, it was good. I lived in London for a year. I was working, living, travelling, and it was cool. And then travelled for 6 months on either side. So, yeah, Europe's nice, but I'm glad I don't live there. I've actually not been to the Netherlands. Well, no. Where have I been? Done Amsterdam, Copenhagen. I think that's about all. Oh no, I've been to Switzerland. I've been to Bern and Luzerne. But that's the only places I've been to up. Yes, I know, but I mean, I know Amsterdam's in Netherlands, I'm saying, but I haven't travelled the Netherlands. Like, Amsterdam's just a destination you go to, like, when you know what I mean? Anyway, like, I haven't been to Oslo. I'd love to go to Oslo. Home of Aha, one of my favourite bands of all time. Anyway, other places are great. Travelling there sucks. Yeah, I don't enjoy the travelling part, I gotta say. Just like, you know, like, I don't enjoy driving. I like going places. I don't like the trip to get there, if that makes sense. Especially as, you know, the world gets more crowded, there are more cars on the road and traffic and stuff. Yeah, it's like such a waste of time. Where are the teleporters that Star Trek promised? Like, seriously. Toshipu, I know you've got a very long list of things, like tasks that you want to do. Like, I know that projects, but can you add teleporter to your list, please? I'd like a teleporter so I could just get to where I want to go. I don't want that. You like driving, really? I think just drive. It's just a waste of time. Like, you can't do other things. You have to concentrate on the road, which is fine. I've got no problems concentrating, but it's like it's just wasted time. Use what framework to do my website? They're just all HTML. They're just HTML, CSS, tiny bit of JavaScript. They're all hand-coded, those ones. Yeah. I'm old school. I don't like doing websites, but I don't like many of the website tools. My TinyPICO one and my Unexpected Maker is just running off Squarespace. And so I just use their templating system. But Squarespace is really expensive. So if I'm going to build satellite websites like these for all my different products, which, you know, at least for the ones that need it, that need more than a single page, yeah, doing something on Wix or Squarespace is just way too expensive. Have you seen the new Raspberry Pi? I have, and I got to tell you, not a fan. I'm nothing against it, but it just seems to be I don't know. They're going to sell a lot of them. I get it, and their target market is not me. I totally get that, but it just, I don't know. It looks, yeah. I don't know. The compute, it's interesting. I don't like the compute 4. I like its features. I like its specs. I don't like that it's using mezzanine connectors, and I much preferred the. I get why they can't do it, but I much preferred the the PCIe type slot design than their current design. Much prefer that. It's a pity that they couldn't do it because they wanted the 2 HDMI. They needed the extra pins. So for my, I have a VPS on DreamHost, so I can just run as I've got a VPS for MySQL and a VPS for just web hosting. 2 different VPSs. They were around from when I had my games company, and I've still got all my game stuff hosted on there. Like, all my games are still live, right? People still play them and whatever. So VPS, a virtual private server. So it's like it's a little instance on a shared box, right? But it's dedicated to me. I get a dedicated, CPU and a dedicated bit of RAM, and I get dedicated disk space. And generally, if I hammer my server, within reason, it doesn't affect anyone else on that machine because it's all virtualized. Where if you do shared hosting, that means there's just a whole bunch of websites on one machine shared, and if your website hammers the server, it affects everyone else, right? Hello, Mr. Tadar98. So I set that up ages ago, and I just pay a monthly fee for it. It's not a lot of money, and so I just kept using it, and I host stuff on there. So I got free web hosting basically for me because I'm already spending that money anyway. How many people typed half of VPS answer? Yeah, probably a few. That's okay. So hang on. What games? I used to make games under under 3 sprockets. I think the website's still up. I hope the website's still up. Yeah, it looks to be. Okay. These aren't all my games. But I've made a lot of games. My game still earns some money, very small amounts. Nothing that I can retire off, put it that way. Yeah, this is more just a landing page now. I don't even know why I've got get in touch. That's really silly because I don't want to hear from people. I get 5 or 6 emails every day still, gaming related, of people wanting to get a job or do voiceover for me or art, or companies that outsource art and stuff. I should really get rid of that form. I've not looked at this website for a long time. Anyway, yeah. It's not a DigDug clone. So we were actually working. So we did Pac-Man 256, right? Will it load? I don't know if this website works anymore. Hang on. It's trying to load something. So we built Pac-Man 256 for Bandai and for Hipster Whale. Some of you might know Hipster Whale. They do Crossy Road. So although everyone thinks that Pac-Man 256 is a Hipster Whale game, it's actually a 3 Sprockets game. We designed it. We made it. Yeah. But anyway, so we did that with Bandai, and Bandai were keen to do another game with us directly, and so we pitched doing a Dig Dug remake. But it was really limited. Like Dig Dug was a great game back in the day, but it's a really limited scope. And then when you start messing around with a game like Dig Dug, like with Bandai, we wanted to go in directions that Bandai weren't necessarily wanting to go. So we decided to just do our own game, and we made it was a digging game. It was actually, I don't know if this will work. Oh, wow. That's tiny. How do you get it bigger? How do I get it bigger? There's no big... Anyway, okay. Doesn't matter. So yeah, we made it was a complete reinvention. With stacks of characters and stuff. And, so we had our Digby Extreme, my Digby Extreme, there was multiplayer, so up to 4 players. This is on Steam. So we built it for PS4 and Xbox One, but I never released them. Because I was at the end of, I was at the, I don't want to make games anymore point. We had a Switch version, PS4 and Xbox One, and Steam, but we only ever released the Steam version. I only ever released the Steam version. I say we, but at that point in time I had no staff left. But this is available on Steam. It's got 4-player multiplayer. You got co-op as well as versus. Anyway, whatever. Stop looking at that. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, Cuban was the... Cuban was my... So I had 2 games companies. I had a company called Sector 3, excuse me, which it was my VFX company that I transitioned to games forever ago, and then I sold that to another games company, and they destroyed it. They destroyed it in less than 12 months, which was really sad. And so when I left there and I started another games company, Cuban was the first game I released, and it was happy to say it was a worldwide hit on the App Store and on Steam. It did extremely well. All my games did, like for 3 Sprockets, like it was an award-winning game studio. Won lots of awards for the studio and for the actual games. Back then there were no pick and place issues, correct? There were just different issues. But let's not talk about games anymore. That's in my past. It was not an infinite jumping game, it was an infinite digging game with a lot of twists and multiplayer, and it was really fun. Really, really fun. And it was awesome on the Switch, but never released it. The Hello Quixotic Geek, no, it hasn't arrived, but it has left. It has left China. It's on a boat. Hopefully the boat doesn't sink. Why did I stop game dev? Because, I've mentioned this before. Basically, right now, game development is not about entertaining people. There's a little bit, and it's not about trying to be different or creative. Well, there are some people trying to do that, but it's really about monetizing, right? With the App Store, the race to the bottom, in-app purchase, and all that type of stuff, and ads and everything, it became... Like a successful game became about how do you monetize someone within the first 30 seconds, not how do you entertain someone so they come back and play again. Like, you want them to come back and play again, but if they're not paying you to do it, it doesn't matter, right? You know, and eventually they might pay you, but, you know, it became... Yeah. It wasn't fun anymore. It just wasn't fun. Only if you want to live from doing it. Right, well, when you've got a company and you've got staff and you've got people depending on you and you've got a family to feed, yeah, it just wasn't enjoyable. You know, it didn't matter how good you made your game, how pretty it was, how much fun it was. And then it was a lottery, right? It was about, you could invest a year and a half making a game, and it's an awesome game, and the day you release it, some other game gets released and completely dominates the media, and you get lost, and that's it. You're over. You're done. You don't recover from that. Like, it was really hard. You know what I mean? So it was hard, as in it was totally out of your own control. So that's why I stopped. Loot boxes. Hello, Ian. Oh, finally, 105 RC1. That is nuts. Dustin, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Yeah, and 2.0, very close, which is going to have ESP32S2 support. Hello, Connie. I think hyper-casual games is the term, isn't it? No, mine weren't hyper-casual. Hyper-casual is a different space altogether. But again, it's, yeah. Anyway, out of games, never looked back, had not even been tempted once at all, which is great. It was the right time for me to get out. I got out on a high. I did very well with games. I was very successful with 2 different games companies, and it was time. It was time for me to leave. And I know many of my friends and colleagues who didn't leave are still struggling, or that didn't leave when they could have, ended up getting pushed out and didn't get to leave on their own terms like I did. So that was great. I got to leave on my own terms. Hey, Nick. Hey, Samuel. Yeah, so James is still in the games industry. He's in a different space, though. But, yeah, being in an indie studio is really tough these days. They all come and go. So, okay, have I missed anything else? Your games was back easier in the day, like before the App Store and stuff. It was more manageable. Anyway, been digging through how tools for my MCB board, but I've given up for a few days. There's so much about the what? Paul, you've what? You've been digging through how-tos. Right, okay, sorry. No, I'm not blaming Apple. I'm blaming humans. It wasn't Apple. Apple responded to, like there was no free to play when the App Store launched, and there was no ads at all in games when the App Store launched, right? It was all paid, but it was the race to the bottom in terms of value and dollars. It was, right. Apple created the App Store. Apple didn't create people's, what's the word? The entitlement that everyone deserves everything for free, right? That they'll pay $5 for a cup of coffee, but they won't pay $1 for a game, or $2 for a game. A coffee lasts them 5 minutes, and a game could last them weeks or months, right? Anyway, let's not get into this. I'm quite opinionated on it, having lived in it. Like, I was in games for 12 years, like a long time. You get your live stream for free. You do, but I willingly give you this for free. Right? That's my choice. I won't pay $5 for a coffee. I will, if it's a good coffee. Anyway. Been there since 14, now 52. You're in the games industry still. Wow, Christopher, you should get out. Hey, Rob. Hey, Mike. Right, I think I spent $50 on a movie with popcorn and choc top. Anyway, let's move on. So, wow. What can I tell you? Oh, you're missing out. Taftsy. Hello, by the way. You're missing out if you don't drink coffee. My niece has just started out in game dev. She's done most of it herself, almost finished. Cool, Stephen. Look, there's still a space for game dev. There always will be. There'll always be people making games. There'll always be people playing and buying games. It's just just a really, really tough space. One I wasn't enjoying anymore, so I got out. Mark, hard agree. What are you hard agreeing? My favourite game is KiCad. Okay. What's a choc top? It's an ice cream with chocolate on top. Haven't you got choc tops? You program the PNP to play music through its mechanisms. It'd be pretty bad music, I reckon. It would be. So, I need to design a adapter for my multi-test board for TinyPICOs. Because I have a lot of TinyPICOs I need to test, and my existing test jig for TinyPICO doesn't test the battery, which means I have to retest every board with the battery afterwards, which takes time. So I want to make an adapter. So I think we should get started on that. What do you reckon? I reckon we can still keep talking. I really enjoyed good coffee, but sadly most coffee isn't that good. Not in America, it's not. You guys don't know how to make coffee at all, I gotta say. Sorry. Apologies, but really. Starbucks? Oh, God. Terrible. That's not coffee. Apologies to anyone that likes Starbucks coffee, but yeah. Okay, I'm just going to get some stuff ready because I did not prepare anything. Hello, Ekabu. No, where was that? Burn. It was sick burn. Chocolate raisins. Yeah, chocolate raisins are yum. And chocolate bullets. White chocolate raspberry bullets. Oh, yum. Starbucks is trash, and I say this as an American. It is. Okay. Okay, I'm preparing something I didn't do earlier, so I'm just going to do it now. There was also a change I want to make to my multi-test board, I think, but I have to prototype it out. I might see if I can do it soldering some stuff onto my current board. I don't know if I'll have time to do that today. Duplicate. Yeah, it's a good place to like hang out with, free internet and stuff. I get that with Starbucks, but there's a lot of people buy Starbucks coffee. Like Starbucks came to Australia and it didn't last very long. So I'm just preparing some files. I'm just doing it off screen because it's just me in the file system. Okay, so here we go. So this is the Feather S2 adapter. So I'm going to have to Nescafe Instant. As far as instant coffee goes, I think I prefer Moccona. I'm gonna have to go. Oh no. Okay, catch you later, Quixotic Geek. Enjoy watching the festival. Oh, Kai, that's rough. Ouch. Ooh. Vegemite's awesome. I love Vegemite. Eat it on a spoon. What all does a test jig typically test? Well, it depends on the test jig and who made it. What? Paul? Well, we don't want to do it like that. You want to do it like this, that I get in early. Oh, right. That's really funny. No, Vegemite is not salty, and Vegemite and Marmite taste different. Good coffee doesn't taste burnt. Anyway. No, Marmite is not the superior product. Vegemite rocks. Marmite are for the people that can't stomach Vegemite. For the wusses. Oh, okay, I'm not going to get anything done today because I want to read all the chat. Can you make test jig for testing jigs? Yeah, I already did that. I did a rhyme on Twitter, but very few people participated. What was my rhyme? I think it was how many jigs can a test jig test if a test jig could test jigs. Yeah, how good's that? Promite. Ugh. No. Yeah, Bovril. Bovril. Anyway, Vegemite. Love it. On a spoon. Yum. Yum. Okay. I've got a design block for my TinyPICO. I'm gonna just put that in. If I can find it. Empty shield. That'll do. Stick it just there for now. And that way the pinout's already done. And I don't have to worry about where I'm going to put the headers. They look about even. That looks good enough. Buffer. Yes. Okay. Cool. So don't need those. What am I missing? TinyPICO gave a great explanation of making Vegemite in the last continent. You don't want to know how Vegemite's made. You don't want to know how it's made. It's melted car tires. Anyway. It's actually really good for you. It's full of vitamin, I think vitamin E, D, it's got a lot of vitamins in it. It's actually, yeah, it's good. It's good. Just going to tidy this up. Okay, you can go. No, it's Promite that's melted car tires. One of them is melted car tires. It's yeast. Basically, Vegemite's yeast. And there used to be a Vegemite factory in Richmond. Is it Richmond? No. In South Yarra, in Victoria, near a nightclub I used to go to when I was younger, in the olden days. And we'd all be hanging outside the club smelling the yeast coming out of this big chimney, like a block down from the factory. It was full on. Yeah, Vegemite's full of vitamins. It's great. Now, yeast is not melted car tires, but it's also not pleasant. So no one really needs to know what I'm doing right now, right? I'm just cleaning this up. I'm going to have to wire it all together, of course. Just getting rid of stuff I don't need. Marmite is dark, thick yeast extract spread. It's made from concentrated yeast extract. Yeah, well, same as Vegemite. Marmite, Vegemite, very similar. New, unexpected make a logo. Yes, it is. Hello, Bruce. Excuse me. Hello, Andy Mouse. Hi to anyone I haven't said hi to. SC Gamer, yo. What this that I'm working on? This is an adapter board. Oh, I should rename this for my multi-board test jig for my TinyPICO. So I have two TinyPICO test jigs, as I mentioned, but neither of them do onboard battery testing. And my new multi-board test jig does onboard battery testing, and I want to make an adapter. So my multi-board test jig is designed to run up with adapters. So rather than being a dedicated test jig, okay, don't do that. it uses an adapter instead. Let me switch to here. So this is my multi-board test jig, and so it's using an adapter here. So I can pull this adapter off and plug a different board adapter in, and it's the same base, the same test jig, and I can test different types of boards. So like here's my multi-board test jig for my Nano. So it's using a different adapter. This adapter's got USB on it, and it's got the Frogo pins for the Nano. So where's the Nano? So the Nano plugs in like that, and it gets tested. A bit brighter. Like that, right? Where this one here is for a feather. So the feather would connect like this. It goes there and gets held down for testing. I've got an adapter for my Pro S2, and I want to make one for my TinyPICO, because right now my TinyPICO one is like this. This is my original, I've got two of them, my original test jig, which is specifically for the TinyPICO, right? The pogo pins for the TinyPICO are connected directly to the board, so they're not swappable. And although this has a battery connection, it doesn't have all of the new circuitry that I've got here, where I can turn the battery on and off with a load switch and test stuff. So my plan is to make more of these boards. These are my test jig adapter boards, multi-board test jig, and that's where the adapter goes into. So I can just take all of these off the top, plug the new ones on, because they're all running a Raspberry Pi, and then with the adapter I can just make more adapters for TinyPICO. That way I can have as many TinyPICO test jigs as I want, or as many feather test jigs as I want, because I just swap the adapters out, if that makes sense. So I'm building one of these adapters. Yeah. Hello, Wagon Loads. I need help getting started with KiCad. I need a template for the... Okay. Maybe someone in chat can help you with that. Let's go back to here. Okay, so I need to connect these together. Oh, where's my top row? What have I done? Oh my god, I deleted the wrong thing. Okay, undo, undo, undo. Wow. I wasn't watching, I wasn't concentrating. I thought they were the feather headers, but it's not. That's a feather header. And that's a feather header. Wow, that was close. See, I lost the headers on top. No one commented. What does it power? SC Gamer Yo, are you talking to me? Can you be more specific? Buy me for free. Good morning from Shenzhen. Hello, Shenzhen. Right, that's really annoying. Now I've got to go and do all this again. Oh well. Wasn't concentrating. Story of my life. Try again. How many times does it take to fully test a TinyPICO? What do you mean how many times? One time. Although I test all my boards more than once on the test jig. They all get tested at least twice because I'm paranoid. But what do you mean how many times? You assumed I knew what I was doing? Dude, when have I ever claimed that I know what I'm doing? Ever. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I was just, yeah, distracted. The chat's really cool this morning. Quite funny. I don't want to miss any of it, if I can. Come on. You can't even see where I'm clicking on there. Let me just make this window a bit smaller so you can see when I'm clicking on the interface. That's better. Right. Marquee. Okay. I want bottom. with these labels. Okay, back to the top. So this is just a two-sided board. Oh, you're asking how much time? What? Damn, the Nano is 1mm too wide for my project. Really? Wouldn't it make sense to start with a Nano test adapter schematic? Not really, because all the pins are in a completely different place. So yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it makes any difference. Yeah, JLCP, they got a special for 4-layer boards right now for $2 until you modify it, like you choose something other than green, or it needs ENIG or whatever. Like, you know, it's great if you're doing a standard 4-layer board with hassle, but yeah, they don't do all the add-on prices. They don't go $2 and then do the add-on prices to that. It's like $2, and then as soon as you change anything, it goes back to the normal price for the base price with all the add-ons. Mr. Who 30, how big? How big is what? Oh, how long does it take to take? It takes between 37 and 42 seconds. 37 seconds and 42 seconds. Why does it range? I don't know. I've never worked it out. It's something to do with the Raspberry Pi and the OS. Like sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it could be when it's sending stuff to the like when it's flashing. It could be resending packets. I don't know. It could be that I'm running the serial interface too fast. So yeah, it ranges, but 43 seconds or under. How big is the limit for the JLC PCBs? I don't know. I've not tried to buy anything with their $2 stuff because none of my boards qualify. They never have. Okay, let's go back and try to do this again. So I need to get these into JLC PCB today, by the way. Because I've got boards, I've got Feather S2s in production. They're going to be finished in the next 2 days, and I want to have this come with it because I'd like to get this built as soon as I can. Okay, I think this is right, although pins are not really on the right place. Let me just check though. 23 will go to IO0. No, got them the wrong way around. Okay, that's fine. So the adapter boards were not designed to be in any particular order. So it doesn't really match any of the boards specifically, but if I line these up here, then I've got IO, all these IO will line up along the bottom here. So 23 goes to 0, 19 goes to 17, right? If that makes sense. Obviously ground and reset need to come all the way around, but that's fine. That's no different to the other boards. And then make sure these are the right way around. I think this needs to be rotated and flipped. I want the IO to line up with the IO, if I can. So 4 will go to IO 11, is that right? Yeah, 4 will go down here to IO 11. Cool. No rush then, easy. Yeah, like it shouldn't be fine. Yeah, as long as I don't make a mistake. Yeah. Wow, 197 concurrent viewers, only 31 likes. Come on, folks. Hello, Fred. Hello, Embedded Hobbyist. Sorry. Excuse me. I was thinking labels, but those are for the DUT rather than the test adapter. If you're scared for a reason, is it still paranoid? I think so. I don't know. I don't think having cause removes paranoia, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Does anyone know? It's hard work hitting the like button. I know, it is hard work. It absolutely is. Okay, so I'm gonna delete these. I'm being lazy. I should just relabel them, but I'm just going to join them and hope I don't have to do it again at another time. Hope. You can always hope. I am anti-mouse. What? I guilted Mike into clicking. I guilted Mike? No. Mike, I guilted you? No way. Okay, so let's go. Now, I'll tell you something. I'm trying my best to make myself work in metric rather than in imperial. But I hate it. I hate it. I don't know what 0.1524 is. I'm so used to working in imperial. Why can't it show me underneath what it is? Huh? Like, what is that? I have to go and, oops. I gotta go and change it to imperial just so I can find out. Okay, that's 6. I'll probably want 8. See, how do I know what 8 is? I want 8 mil. So I gotta do that, and then I gotta come back in here. Come on. I know there's a formula. Yeah, that doesn't help me, Mike. Because what's 8 mil from an inch? I don't understand imperial. See, here's the thing. I don't understand imperial at all. I don't understand inches. Okay? But what I know is I've got predefined thicknesses for all of my traces depending on what they are. Right? Unless I'm trying to do a really tight design. Like, I try to get all of my signal traces as 8 mil unless I have to go smaller. And I try to have all my power minimum of 12 mil, but ideally 16 mil. Right? So I don't know what imperial is, but I know what size I want them. Is 10 mil 0.1 inch? Yeah, I don't know. See, that's the thing. I need a chart. Yeah, because someone want to make me a chart. No, I want you this way. Okay, let's just get this routed. If we can. This really shouldn't be a hard adapter to make. Really shouldn't be. Right, so 0.4064. Really? So that's got to be 16, right? Because it's double. So that's 16 mil if the other one was 8. Okay, you have to relabel some of these. Design a PCB ruler with traces of different widths and labeling showing both. Yeah, the problem with that is then I'll lose it. It'll be on my desk somewhere, and if you saw my desk right now, you'd go, yeah, he'll never find it. I've probably got one. A ruler. How many bananas? Let's talk pence. As long as we don't talk Mike Pence, it's fine. What triggers me the most is imperial footprints that won't align properly to metric grids. Yeah, it's like imperial shouldn't exist anymore in the world. It shouldn't. But unfortunately, for the last 2.5 years, I've done everything with imperial. And as I said, it's not that I understand imperial. It's just that I'm annoyed that they are not the right way around. I just know what sizes I like. Hate this. I really don't like having to do stuff like that, but I can't change them. Oh well. Okay, now this side, they should all line up. Imperial harks back to the days of Empire. Yeah, I know where it comes from, but it just shouldn't be there anymore. Like, metric. Just, yeah. Anyway. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. What do I know? I'm just one guy with really strong opinions that most people don't agree with, but that's okay. Okay. What are all those crossing lines? Yeah, don't start with me on the crossing lines. I don't like it. I don't have a choice, because that's what they're connected to over here. Anyway, no one has to look at the schematic, do they? Nah, don't look at the schematic. Schematics are overrated anyway. So these are sensing, these ones. These are not actually powering. These don't have to be 16 mil. And I don't know why I'm doing them 16 mil. It's a bit weird. I'm saying 16 mil, but it's 0.4064. But whatever, that's fine. Oh, hello, Flynn. Just waving at Flynn. I like Imperial because all breadboards and prefboards are 0.1 inch spacing. Right, that's what I'm saying. So electronics is still very embedded in the Imperial space. You know, which is why I started with Imperial and stuck to it. But it's just a shame, that's all. Just a shame. Because it's a really complicated thing. So 2032 is 8 mil. I'll eventually learn it. I know I will. I don't even know why I'm bothered. But whoops. Breadboard should be 0.166. Wow. See, that's exactly my point. Like, you don't get stuff like that in metric. You get nice whole numbers. Yeah, 2.5 mil and 2.54. Like, you can get 3.81 mil screw terminals, right? And you can also get 3.8. You can get 5.0 millimeter screw terminals and 5.08 millimeter screw terminals. Like, why? Oh, Fred, you're melting my brain. Try using space key shortcut to change the layers when routing. Yeah, I couldn't use space because I didn't have my other layer turned on. Valentine. Now that I've got it turned on, because I was just on the top layer only, so you can't, if you don't have the layers turned on. Let me just turn this off. If I turn off the bottom layer, right, and I'm in routing mode, I can't hit space, right? The layer's got to be available. If I turn the layer on, I then can hit space, right, and make a via, or like that, right? So it just wasn't turned on. That's why I selected it. Yeah, I'm killing the space bar. That's okay. See, I don't like traces like this on an angle with a little dog leg. Like, it really frustrates me. I don't know why. But it's also frustrating to do this. Really frustrating. But that's the point, Rota. They should have standardized on one and left it. Anyway. Julian likes jaunty angles. Is your shed all angles? My garage does not have a straight wall in it anywhere. It is so frustrating. Oh, someone asked me how. Does someone ask me how the garage renovation's going? It's good. It's pretty much done for now, other than solving what I'm going to do about the. Wow, why is this not lined up? What I'm going to do about the actual garage door and protecting that, but I can't do that until I've got my line in and I know exactly how much space I have to work with, because I just don't know. I'm just going to put this in. What pogo pins are you using for the nano tester? They are Frogo pins, and Paul Target sent me them because he got some and then he gave them to me, and then he decided he wanted to make a board with them. Silly boy. He did have a link for something similar from Farnell, I think. Do you still have that link, Paul? If you don't have to share it if you don't want to. If you want to keep it secret. It's cute you think walls being square is a requirement. You mustn't have known many building chippies. No, I didn't say it was a requirement, but it made it really hard for me to get the ceiling on, which looks excellent, by the way. So the ceiling's in, air conditioning's in, lights are in. Oh my god, I've never had proper lights in there before. The whole time I've been living here, there's been one fluoro light in there. What am I doing? What am I doing? And yeah, I've now got LED not strips, but you know, like tube lights, the same as the ones I got in here, like daylight ones. Oh my god, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I didn't know what I was missing. That is the ugliest routing, but I really don't care. Try middle clicking. That one works even if the layer is turned off. You sure it works when it's turned off? Hang on. Oh, it does too. Okay. I didn't know it worked when it was turned off. I thought it only worked when you were in routing mode. Thanks. Cool. I was never going to use the Frogo pins on my board, weren't you? Because you knew how bad they were to work with? Thanks. And you gave them to me. They were a bitch to get on, let me tell you. I'll do that all with straight lines. You'll do... What, all the routing? Yeah, but they're not straight. They don't line up exactly. I could move the board so they do. But look, it's fine. It's really fine. I'm really okay with it. Oh, right. Okay. So if I'm in route mode, it will. Okay, cool. Reset. Look at that. Pass reset right through the signals. How bad is that? So that's it. That should be routed. Because with my ground planes, I should now have no issues. Yep. No DRC errors. Da-da! But a cold coffee. Use non-45 degree lines. No way. No. You know what? I don't have, in general, I don't suffer from OCD. I really don't, in general. I'm a perfectionist, but I don't suffer from OCD. But I can't do non-45 degree lines on a PCB. In general, I don't care. I love doing different angled lines, absolutely. But on a PCB, I don't do... No, 45 degrees, that's what it is. Who wanted the link to the pins? I think Kevon asked... where was it? Yeah, Kevon Harvey. Push shove. Yeah, I could. Yeah, there is push shove. But anyway, so I want to. What I do want to do though is, whoops, rip up just the ground plane. I want to move these labels because there's no point having them on the inside because then I can't see them. I don't really even need them, but yeah, I probably don't even need them. Now that's assuming I want my TinyPICO there. Do I want it there at that end? Do I want it further over? So the reason I'm asking, and I'm asking myself, is if I switch back to here, so one of the important things in my test jigs, which I don't have here, and it's a problem. But this is a really long board, right? I would have had to have pushed everything back too far. So when this is in, see the USB sticks out. I could cut new acrylic. That's fine. But so grab a TinyPICO. What I've got with my TinyPICO is, see the little lips here? Can you get closer? On the acrylic. So that means that when the board is in, it can only sit like that. It doesn't move. It cannot possibly go onto the wrong pogos, right? And that just means that it's really quick to get in and out because I don't have to align it at all. Like I put it in, it falls into place, gets pushed down on the pogos. And so that's why I've got this sticking back a bit. So on my design here, I mean, it can go back further, it's fine, but on my design here, that's why I've got the board sticking back. So the USB will be sitting here, and I have room for the acrylic to go around, if that makes sense. Drop kick the kid. Who, what? What did I miss? No several degree offset to avoid substrate hole impedance mismatches. What? What are we talking about? For these test jigs, I really don't have to worry about any impedance or inductance issues or capacitance issues. Nothing that happens on this test jig is high speed. It's really just checking the electricals and then checking that all the I/O works, checking Wi-Fi, checking battery, checking the RAM, and blah 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 blah. Put an end stop on the adapter board like a header just to align the PCB. An end stop on the adapter board. What do you mean? I align it with the acrylic. I'm not sure what you mean, Rob. Like put something else on the board to line it up. There was a discussion on Bill's live stream the other day. On whose live stream? Hi Chris, by the way. Why don't you use the auto routing tool? These kinds of routing. I never use the auto routing tool. Ever. Never have. Never will. Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, I mean, I think this is good. Actually, what I need to do, because I always forget, because none of the previews actually show you, we need to make sure that there's no values. I hate having bits of silk appear when they shouldn't. Let me check the bottom. No, okay, good. Good. DRC, check it again. Check. Good. And top side looks fine. Bottom side looks fine. It really doesn't need anything else. Okay. Save. I'll export that and order that later. Yay! Why there? Which bill? What? Hang on. Oh, right. So did you do this on Hackaday? What stream did you do? I mean, I watch his Hackaday videos. Does he do other stuff other than Hackaday? Yeah, I love Bill Hurd. I'm a Commodore fan from way back. You see the source code to Watchdog Legion has leaked. Really? Wow, who did that? Wanted to keep the same acrylic for, say, the feather. You could put something... Oh, no, it's got to be completely different acrylic. Has to be completely different because the... I mean, you know... Wow, get off. Yeah, like... Oops, wrong screen. Like, how could I keep the same acrylic? I mean, the board's different width and length. It can't be the same. It's custom acrylic for each one. Okay, Walter, I don't know who you are, but don't do that. Where the preview is missing the ground plane. Yeah, I hadn't filled it. Hang on, let me refill it. I'll show you. Yeah. They weren't filled. There you go. Now you'll, bang, see the ground plane. It doesn't even need 2 ground planes. It doesn't even need ground planes at all. I mean, I could just put traces for the ground. It's no big deal. Did you miss important butterfacts? No, there's no Bitloonies, so there's no butterfacts. Do a live stream how you write code for Raspberry Pi. I generally don't like doing code on streams, but yeah, look, I might, yeah. I've actually got a coding problem that we can do soon if you like. Altium, goodness, really? What, is Yuz here? Hello, Yuz. I didn't see you appear. Just like magic. You don't need butter with Vegemite, but butter and Vegemite is yum. It's, yep. Please use straight lines for that 8-bit bus. How about I just make them round and curvy? I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like stuff like that. That's really annoying. Just saying. And I really prefer if these were even. Ah, come on. But there's no need to have islands in here at all. But yeah, it's okay. I don't really have to worry about antennas on this. I mean, technically these are little antennas, right? As a ground plane. So these are RF Nightmare, but they're quite removed from the TinyPICO or for any board that I'm testing. Even though it's a shared ground, it's yeah. I'm not measuring RF performance, I'm measuring that RF works. Because you can't really measure performance. Not in this type of scenario. Get over the non-45. Nah, just don't do it. I'd like to see a watchdog circuit that resets a Raspberry Pi when it freezes, watching full screen YouTube on Pi. I think that's your first problem, is watching YouTube on the Pi. No, I'm just kidding. No, as I said, this is not an issue. They are little antennas, but it's not an issue. It's, still, I generally try to avoid them just as a general practice and not do it. Like you can notice I've got no vires here either. Like that there's these 2 grounds, one here and one here. They're the only things joining the, or this one, I guess here. That's joining the 2 sides together, and it's fine. I'm not looking for a, again, I'm not looking, for a fast return path for anything. None of that really makes a difference to the test jig. Hello, P-Boy. I watched a video of Android 11 on a Pi. Oh. Okay. Never considered being an Altium Designer user in the past. Yeah, Altium it's just too expensive. Run that thing at 2.4 gigahertz. Yeah, nah, just a test jig. It's fine. So I'm just checking chat. What did I miss? Anything? Yes, I ran a DRC check. It's all good. DRC check. No errors. No errors. Okay, save. Found the Kickstarter, Watchdog, links allowed, Mr. Who 30. I will make you a moderator. It's, hang on. You are currently a moderator, so you can post a link and then I'll remove it. So DRC, it's, you got electrical checks, ERC, and then DRC is, thank you, Annie Mouse, it's the design rules check. Electrical rules check, design rules check. And the interesting thing with the DRC is it's fairly useless unless you've set your DRC up properly. So the DRC here comes from, in this case I'm doing a 2-layer board. So this is a DRC that I've set up, right? But if you haven't set up all of your parameters correctly, then a DRC check is useless. Or if you, for instance, use a DRC rule set from, let's say, Osh Park, or, I mean, SparkFun have got one that people use with Eagle and stuff. If you use that and it's not compatible with the board house that you're using, then your board check might come up that it passed, but it might not be compatible with the board house. So you need to be triply sure that all of your settings for your DRCs are correct for your board house. And then when you run your DRC check and it says there's no errors, that means there's no errors, right? Like a good example is that with JLC PCB, they have a minimum spacing from the edge of the board for your copper fills. And if you don't have it all the way, if you have it all the way to the edge, sometimes they don't pick up on it and they just make the board anyway, or they shrink it back themselves and don't tell you. But sometimes they'll fail you, right? Now, that 6mm gap, a lot of the DRC checks that you can get, like I think SparkFun, some other ones, or the early ones anyway, that I looked at years ago, they had 0 here, which means it allowed copper to go all the way to the edge, and they would pass in Eagle, but they would fail with JLC PCB, if that makes sense. You go by JLC PCB now, 20%, yeah. I have a lot of trouble with JLC PCB and matching their minimum spec and then getting told that they can't do it, their minimum tolerances, and then they come back to me and say, sorry, they can't do it. Okay, anyway, that's good to go. So, I have a coding problem, a very interesting coding problem, and I think maybe I'll plug it in and show you and see if we can fix it. I'll show you the problem. Optimistic rules. Okay, so, wow, okay, that's really bright. Let me, I need dark acrylic to go here. So this is my old original YouTube counter. It's got my V1 Neo 7 segments, the ones before I even had the decimal point. Do you remember when we did that stream, some of you will remember, forever ago, where we added the decimal point? We added the noggin, what do we call it? The little nub, we added the nub, right? This is pre-nub. But what I wanted to show you, let me see if I've got some acrylic. Hang on. Dark acrylic, hello, dark acrylic. No, not really. Nowhere. Okay, nowhere dark acrylic. But you can see this, right? Turn that off. You can clearly see there's a problem. No, it's not a floating pin. Just hold on, everyone. Hold your horses. I will actually, let me switch views. Okay, so what is this that we're looking at? Well, this is, let me show you what this is. Yep. Too small. you're talking about the font, possibly. I'll make it bigger for you if I can. There you go, nice and big. So this is my Neo 7 segment display running off my TinyPICO with my RMT implementation. So as you can see, it works. It's designed for 5 digits, right? I've only got 4 digits here. So I've added RMT support to my Neo 7 segment library so you can run it off an ESP32, right? I haven't updated that one yet. I'm still transitioning it. But, and the Knight Rider one's a bit buggy as well. I need to fix that as well. So all the digits are working, but, and my segment drawing's working, everything's working except, so it's the clock. I've got a method called setDigit. That's correct. There's supposed to be decimal points there, but I don't have decimal points on here, right? On these particular displays. And this is the problem. So here, this setDigit, for some reason, so if I get rid of this third one, actually these two, so if I just tell it to display a 5, so what setDigit does, so normally what you can do is you pass the display a string, like this, right? And it puts the string like on the thing. But I've got a method that lets you set individual digits. So I'm setting 0 and 1 to be 5 and 4, right? And if I run that, let me turn off the cycling so I can just keep it on that one display. What about a remake of Snake? I remade Snake, yes, for my display shield. Or I don't know what we're talking about. So as you can see here, they are working. There should be no garbage there. So let me, hang on, bring up my, not that one. Here we go. So here's my library. Make that bigger for you as well. Okay, so this is the library, and I'm not going to go through how all the code works. Won't work here, it's not dot screen. I don't know what that is. So if we go to setDigit, so the way the library used to work is that, because it just used the NeoPixel library, right? It just set the pixel color using their library for everything, right? It went through and worked out what pixel it was and set the color, which is fine. And it still does that if you're not using an ESP32. But if you're using an ESP32, well, anyway, what I'm doing now is I've got a buffer of LEDs, and it sets all the LED positions, and then at the very end it does a fill buffer. Does a fill buffer, and if it's on the ESP32, it does RMT and sets all the data, goes to each of the LEDs. And if it's on the Adafruit library, it goes to each of the LEDs and just does a set pixel color, right? Okay, I don't know what that discussion's about. So, yeah, it's like, let me, so if I set an individual, those digits, let me just why is it not, oh, I didn't save it. Hang on, 1 second. Begin, I'm just going to do a dot clear buffer. Okay, run that again. So it looks like there's a corruption. Oh, is that not public? Hang on. Might not be public. No, it's private. Okay. That's fine, because it should be in begin anyway. Begin, yeah, there's a clear buffer here. and then a fill buffer. So this should be clearing the buffer at the start and filling it. So it looks like there's a buffer corruption, but it's not, because the other ones are working. They all use the same code, the same fill buffer, right? All the other ones are working multi-digit. There's just something I'm missing here, which is really frustrating. And if I tell it to do the third digit, so I spent about an hour on this the other day trying to solve this, and I could not solve it. Got logs everywhere and all sorts of stuff. So if I set just the one digit, so there should be a 2 over here in a moment. See? Works fine. So it's not overrunning the buffer. It's not a faulty digit because it's working for all the other modes. It's just if I set just these, yeah, like that's what's weird. If I, hang on, why is that moved? If I do this one here and run it, this will be a green 3 over here. There's something weird going on, but see that? But all of the different methods run the same code, the same fill code, the same fill buffer. And as I said, if I just run like this 0, if I just run this first one, which just does rainbow numbers, I can, but it's a lot of data, Rob. So it's going to be, see, that works fine. 4 digits, cycling colors, no problem. They're all using the same methods. The only difference with the set digit is I'm only doing one digit and then doing a fill buffer, but it shouldn't, I'm not touching any of the other buffer positions, right? And I've confirmed through my logs that, like, here it is, you know, it's doing a 5, a 4, a 3, a 2. They're the 4 digits, and it's starting the buffers at the correct spot. So that's index 0, which for the first digit, index 28, because there are 28 LEDs per digit, which is correct. And there are 112 in total, which is correct. So the indexes are correct. And I've checked all of that. Need a single step through the code. Well, a single step won't help me in this particular case because, well, possibly. I mean, so yeah, the serial output in the Arduino IDE is terrible. What I need to do is have a way of dumping the data in the buffer, but in a way that it matches the digits, so I can identify. Like having just a whole 122 numbers doesn't help me. I need an easy way of formatting the data to be able to look and show me in clumps in a readable format, right? Send index data, etc. to terminal and run it. But that's what I'm doing here. That's what this output was. I mean, right now this is not showing anything because it's not calling that method. But if I go and I'll show you, if I put this back to 12, I'll have it run once. Actually, let me just do this. I'll go copy all that. I'll stick it here and I'll exit early on the loop. So it just does it it spams the logs, the console. Now it shouldn't matter that I'm setting a digit that it doesn't have because it traps for that here. If the digit's out of scope, it just returns and doesn't do anything. So if I stick a return here. So if I run this, it should just run that once. and we should see some log output from it when it happens. There we go. Let's run it. Oh, the first one's over here. So, yeah, hang on, I can even make it display. What is it displaying? Actually, I don't need to do that. Oh, it's already, what am I doing? It's already doing that at the front. Ignore me, ignore me. So it's showing here. So 5 is the text it's sending to index 0. What have I missed? The ability to break and single step is the way to go with firmware debugging. Absolutely. Look at the output, almost up. Try to think if you know what I mean. Not judge you quick. What? Okay. Do I have serial spy? I don't know what serial spy is going to help me with. Whoa, look at that. What happened there? I just ran that. Let me run that again. Having a debugger would be useful. The display. There's no I2C output. There's no I2C or anything on this. Right, I have to, but I can't walk them unless I can print them out and see them. Can you gist this? Well, no, it's 3 different files, so I can't really gist it. I'm not, yeah, look, yeah, I don't need people to go through my code. That's kind of not what I'm looking for. I've vetted my code already. I'm curious to know, though, why... hang on a second. What have I missed? I don't even know why that's there. What bus are you using for the 4 modules there? It's not bus. It's just it's using RMT, an RMT peripheral. So there's no, you can't investigate it. It's not. It's an internal peripheral on a pin. It's not SPI or I2C or anything else. Is there any way to suppress garbage text? I wish there was. I wish there was. I mean, I can... I can just do a serial.print line just to get rid of that first carriage returny thing. I want to know why that's corrupting now. Maybe remove the extra digit and see what happens. I've already removed the extra digit. No, and it doesn't matter, as I said, but... See, look at that. That's so weird. If I tell it to do this, though... Well, it should display a 5, 4, 3, and a 2. See, that's now corrupting. I reckon, you know what? You know what? I might need to stick a delay on the display here. While not is ready. Let's just try that. I think I'm hitting the display too quickly and the RMT peripheral isn't set up yet. But that's not the issue I'm having. No? So this should be displaying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it does. If I get rid of this, oops, and I run this, you'll see that it works. Yeah, it's okay. Like yeah, I wasn't. See, it's doing it here it's hitting it too fast. I wonder if serial.print line waiting. I wonder how long this is taking. This should be pretty quick, like. But anyway. I got a funny feeling this yeah. No. It worked before. Everything works except setting individual digits. All the other demos work as it should. Right? Was there any waiting? No. It didn't even print waiting. Right? It didn't print waiting, so it's not an is ready thing. Everything works as it should, except for setting individual digits. And setting individual digits works if I set that digit, or that digit, or that digit, or that digit, or those two digits. But once I set more than 2, it breaks. Which doesn't make any sense, because they're being set individually, and each one is setting the correct pixels because I can set them individually. What I think is happening, I think I know what the problem is. So the issue is going to be in my fill buffer. It's going to be this, my writing to the RMT peripheral. I bet you I am modifying the data before it's finished writing. Yeah, Rhoda's got it kind of. It's correct. It's sending the data via RMT, where in this case, without the RMT peripheral, it's just going through the loop and setting the pixel color. So if I change any data before or after that loop, I mean the data's fixed size. If I change the contents at all, that's fine. But what's happening with RMT, what it does is it grabs the data and it copies it to a different memory space to send it via the peripheral. And I reckon there's a problem. I reckon I'm doing something with the data as it's grabbing it and copying it. That's what I think the issue is. For instance, if I did this, that's why it works with 1 digit and sometimes with 2, but then breaks with the rest. I reckon if I, just out of curiosity, and it just means I'll have to remove this method because there's no easy way around this, but like if I did I know this is terrible, but if I do a 100 millisecond delay between each one, I don't know how long the peripheral takes. It's very quick, but it is doing a memory copy because the RMT peripheral has its own memory space that it sends from. No, you can't turn it off. If I turn it, I can deinitialize it, then I have to reinitialize it. Yeah. There's no off on RMT as far as I'm aware. Oh, hang on, I'm just compiling that, but I'm not using it. So that won't do anything right now. Need to change this to 12. Blocking delays are worse. They are, and I don't normally use them. I use millis and timer. But in this case, I want to see what happened. There we go. Works. Right. So the issue is I'm touching the data while RMT is copying it. Damn. Okay. There we go. You see? Ducking. You can't inquire the status on it. No. Pass it as const. Pass what as const? Okay, so the way RMT, okay, there's no control over RMT. The way RMT works, it's its own. It's an actual peripheral, like a. I mean, when I say like a, it's not an ADC, but it's like an ADC. It's hardware. It's physical hardware on the chip. It's a peripheral, right? Does that make sense? It's like a UART, as whatever else, but it's hardware. So it's got its own memory space. It does its own copying. It does everything else. You don't. There is no augmenting it. You know what I mean? It's like it is what it is, right? You just fire it and it does what it does. Now you can do multi-channel. I could set up a separate channel and do like a double buffer, maybe. But I'd have to implement that for everything though. Like, yeah. So I'd have to initialize 2 lots. Hang on, where's my RMT initialization? Here. I'd have to set up 2 lots of two channels and possibly 2 lots of memory. Yeah. Is there a busy flag? There's no. You can't poll it. You can't talk to it that I'm aware of. I mean, other than sending. I don't think so. I mean, we can have a look. ESP32 RMT peripheral Arduino. We can have a quick look. I don't know. Call your set digit once per loop. Well, I could in my demo, but that's not intuitive for other people. How would they know to do that? Like the code I'm playing with now is just my demo code for the library. But that's also not just a problem with set digit then. All your functions will have that issue when called multiple times in a row. But there's never any need to call any of my other ones multiple times in a row because they set the whole entire thing, right? OMT flag TX done. Right, is that exposed with the Arduino IDE? That's the question. I wonder if there's anything in their examples. ESP32 RMT. They've got to write NeoPixel, but I bet you that won't. Doubt that'll have any of that in it. Yeah, no. I just want to see a use of that or some documentation. These will all be IDF, which I can look at a last resort. Yeah, if there's a way that I can check, then hang on. If there's a way that I can poll and check, then absolutely I can make it wait. Yeah, there's no reply on that one. It. Hey Yumbo Prime. I see people using RMT write sample. What? Hey Copo Steve. How about setting your number once, then reading it out one character at a time? So what do you mean? The issue isn't how I'm getting the data in. The issue is the RMT. Oh, Bruce, let me make you a mod. There you go, Bruce. I mean, it still might just be easier to run 2 channels, kind of double buffer it. Write sample async with 8 channels, significant staggered starts. The last few channels. But that's multi-channel. That's all 8 channels. Right, so here, this is what, I want something like this. Something like that is what I want, but let's fill buffer. So before I do the write, I want something like that, but I can't have an if. It needs to be a while. And I don't know what the tick period is. Hey Benjamin, seems to be some double buffer here. Yeah. Okay. Look, I'll have a look. at either doing a double buffer or seeing if I can just wait till the transmission's done. Found the get status channel. Status, I can post a link issue. It'll be interesting for you. Hey Miroslav. Yeah, look, there are lots of things. I'll have a hunt through the official docs. And whether I do a wait, like just do a loop until it's finished, like if I can get wait TX done working, otherwise I can just look at double buffering it. Glad you got it working, Benjamin. Yeah, checking your register would be nice. But it could also be what this is doing under the hood. Okay, well at least I know what the issue is now. Awesome. Woo! So, yeah, I really want to get this update out. Hang on a second. Wait, I'm just changing some code. Hold on. Always changing code. And rerun that. Famous developer words, this must be the problem. Well, I know it's the problem. I've proved it's the problem by putting a delay in. Yep, there it goes. It's supposed to say spoon. There's an N, but you can't see it. Okay. That's good. Whew. Thanks everyone for your help. That was awesome. Here's a complete sketch using stuff. Okay, I'll have a look at that as well. Thanks, Bruce. Wow, okay. I still have to fix the Knight Rider one. I'm not sure what that is. So, yeah, I'll get to that. 8:52. It's been almost 2 hours. You do rock. You all rock. Thank you. That was awesome. That was really cool. I mean, the next bit of code we're going to be doing, probably together, because I'm never going to have time, is this one, which I'm still haven't started. Don't have time. It just sits on my desk doing this. And at night time, it lights up in here, which is really cool. But it's just sitting here running. I just have not had time. I just don't have time to get onto it, unfortunately. I wish I did. But, yeah. A Swedish word is generally longer than English. Send it to you and you'll throw code at it. Yeah, but you might not want to throw the code that I want to throw. You don't do C++, do you? You don't do Arduino, do you, Mike? No. Aren't you just a Python guy? The Swedish version of MicroPython has Swedish. Johnny did the translation for it. Assembly or bust. I can if the coffee's right. That's really funny. Okay, so I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I'm waiting on my pick and place. I gave up and made my own version. Did you? Okay. How do you know you were, Mike? Interesting. I've never heard you mention it, so there you go. Yeah, you can't translate the language. The language is a language. Yeah, but all the help. I don't know what to tell you all. Yeah, I'm lost. I don't know what to tell you. Ruby. Oh, Ruby. No. Ruby on Rails. So it's going to be a while till I've got more pick and place news. Because, yeah, it's got to get here. It's got to get to Sydney for testing, then it's got to get to me. Is there a decent 4-train compiler for ESP32? That's really funny. QBasic on Rails. Oh, you all. You're hilarious. CircuitPython RC1 is out. Yay. Any progress on the tiny shed? So I had someone come in to give me a quote. Stop calling it a tiny shed, Mark. That's not nice. I had someone to give me a quote, come in to give me a quote. I haven't got the quote yet. I just don't have time to do it myself. Yeah, I can't see. Yeah. I can't see when I'm going to have time to do it myself. I'm very deep in hardware manufacturing right now. For the foreseeable future. I bought an RS-232 shield. What could I use it for? I don't know. You could connect it to an old retro computer and make it talk. Maybe? I don't know. Long range serial transfer. Shielding things from other things. Oh, I've got a nail gun and a brad nailer and got myself a pneumatic stapler as well. So I have 3 nailing tools now. It's awesome. I love my tools. Excel localized functions. Yeah, they should not change language, like programming language. That's the language. It's not English, it's the language. They should just leave it. Anyway. What am I up to? Satellite receivers? No, I'm not doing satellite receivers. It's an electronics channel stream. Can I tell you about myself? I'm a hardware engineer, YouTuber, maker, coder, generalist. Well, I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to the chat, to you guys and girls. It's interactive, but I'm the only one talking right now. So I was designing a adapter board PCB before. Then we just worked on a coding problem for one of my libraries for the ESP32. And now, yeah, like it's been 2 hours and I'm probably just going to computer hardware engineer, electronics hardware engineer. I don't know, electronics. I mean, computers are made with electronics, but yeah. And a human pick and place machine as well. No, I don't do PCB building. I don't put computers together. I design electronics. Yeah. Don't build PCs. Go to Linus for that. He does all the PC building, or Awesome Source, or Paul's Hardware, all those places. The black printer looks so tiny. Yeah. That's a normal size printer. Linus. What's wrong with Linus? Linus is good. His channel's cool. You left out Garage Makeover Guru. I don't know about the Guru. But, look, I'm pretty impressed with the Garage. I think I did a good job. It looks way better than I thought it would. And I even succumbed yesterday in the warmth, and I added 2 more coats to my shelves of polyurethane, which I said I wasn't going to do. My back is almost better. It's still a bit niggly. I have to be very careful still, but it's almost better. Do I do anything with HPIB devices? I don't even know what a HPIB device is. There are too many things to know. When was the last time they could be used for sitting? The couch. Oh, yeah, a while ago. It's almost clean. It's almost empty. Look. Look. There's almost nothing left on it. And once the charm high's gone, I'll have my old couch back in there. I'll have 2 couches and one I can sit on. Not that I don't ever sit on my couch because I'm at the computer working. Who sits on them? I used to sit on them. And when I had staff here, we used to sit on them. And sometimes it's nice just to sit on them. But yeah, since the charm high's been in here, well, there's been no sitting. Maybe you need a shelf. I've got shelves in my garage. What? It's not my couch? Whose couch is it? If you're into ATE equipment, you would have used the... Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. What equipment that is. Charm high would make a great footrest. Yeah, expensive footrest though. Does the Nita know there's a charm high in the house? They might fight. I'm pretty sure the charm high knows it's being replaced. Because it's being a real bastard. More so than normal. I'm just reading chat, sorry. Oh, right, doesn't have enough stuff on it. Sure, yeah. Well, I'm moving it out. So the stuff, not there. They actually have to go on my shelf outside. I've got a shelf for them now. This is more parts. What have we got here? Ooh, another reel of 3000 TP4065 charge ICs. What do we got here? Orange LEDs, 0402. Red LEDs, and that's all they had left. I'm going to be in trouble on red LEDs. 2.2 microfarad 0402 caps. Yay. And then a whole bunch of... What? Let me show you something. Okay, here we go. Rant time. I haven't done that for a while. 105. Right. So, look at what... Hang on. 598, 599, 599. Where's the other one? 598. Okay, ready for this? So, I ordered all of the LEDs that JLC PCB had. You know, with LCSC. You know, with LCSC they show you this is stock on hand, this is stock in 3 days. If you order more than either one of those two, you get it in 2 parts, right? So I ordered just what they had in stock of on hand now. That's it. Should have come to me in one hit. Okay? So in between me ordering it and paying for it, somehow they allocated something else to someone when they shouldn't have, and this is what they sent me instead. You ready for this? They sent me however many is on this reel. Yeah? Then they sent me another 479 like this. Ready? And then they sent me one 0402 LED. What do they possibly think I'm going to do with one 0402 red LED? I mean, look at how much money they wasted in a bag and a label. Like, just don't send it to me. Right? So here are my orange LEDs. They didn't even tape it down. orange LEDs. Yeah? 1,189 is supposed to be. And then here's another 41 of them. And here's another 9 of them. So three lots of orange LEDs and 3 lots of red LEDs. Like, I've discussed with them 100 times already. They know this stuff goes on my pick and place machine. What am I going to do with this? Right, but they know it's... Like, I specify to them when I order... So I've got a direct account person. I don't know if I'm allowed to share that or not. I've got a direct account person. Have had for a long time. Because I buy a lot of stuff from them. I mean, okay, you know... Well, for an individual person... Like, I buy a lot of stuff from them. And when I order something, I can pre-confirm with them how it's going to be delivered to me. And I let them know what I need. And I tell them straight up, if it's going to be like blah, 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 don't send it that way. Or let me know now. Right? But sometimes they just make a mess. So they knew before they sent this that I only wanted whatever was on a reel. That was it. Don't give me extras. And they send me extras and I can't use them. And it's just frustrating. Right? Or this one here, where there's a whole bunch, plus a little strip. An extra, I'm not sure if you can see that. There's a hole like this, and then a little tiny strip of extras, of 8 more. Whatever. So I have ordered my, remember I spoke last week about doing... I could just throw them on the floor with all the other ones. Yes, I could. Absolutely, I could. And then they'll be in good company. Send them to Johnny. Yeah, I could do that. Hey, Zero himself. What I have cooking in the workshop? Nothing anymore. Made an adapter board for the TinyPICO for my test jig. Found a bug with some code with the help of the community. Now I'm just ranting about LCSC. At least they did deliver all of my tubes intact now. They sent me a photograph of them before they sent them. But still, it's just frustrating. It's such a waste. There's just no concept of wastage when it comes to stuff like this. Bit frustrating. Right, so I ordered... Remember last week I spoke about doing... I'd like to do like a voice and or touch possible solution with RGB lights for all of my reel racks in my garage. Well, I've ordered... RGB LED strips, 72 per meter, which is the best I could get for fitting reels. Slightly wider than I want to go, but there's nothing in between. Like what I needed was 69. No, was 70. I needed 75 per meter, and you can't get it. It doesn't exist, right? But now I'm actually thinking I might not even use that strip at all. I had it. So one of the challenges of is a reel in place or not is detecting if the reel's there. And there's lots of ways to do that. I know I'm about to get bombarded with all the ideas of what I could do. Was it your video of your Mauser order for ICs? It might have been, when I got the tray and there was one in a tray. They sent me 2 trays and I ordered 25 and there was 24 in one tray and 1 in another tray. Yeah. Bruce uses Platform IO. Christian's got an idea. Yes, everyone's going to have ideas. But so I don't want a mechanical switch. Not going to work. I don't want to use traditional IR. I don't want to do NFC tags or anything like that. Right? But I have an idea. I wish I knew where I put them. Hang on. Let me see if I can find I don't know where they are. I don't think they're in here. No, they're not. So I'm going to use photo resistors, but slot ones. My idea is, I've got some somewhere, but I found some SMD versions of them that are really small. Yeah, no, PR won't work, but I'm going to use so a slot-based IR, so the ones that are designed for encoders, that if I can build the rack to hold these in properly and have it at the right spot, then this would sit in between the slot. Told you I'd get in first. Don't want to do it the way. I'm going to do it how I want to do it. You can do it how you want to do it, Paul. So that way when it's in, it'll detect that there's something there, and when it's out, it'll detect that it's gone. But that's going to require a custom PCB to hold it. And if I'm going to do that, I might as well build the RGB bit onto the custom PCB. So I might end up building a whole bunch of small strip PCBs that has an LED at the front and the sensor at the back that'll fit inside little rack pieces that get joined together. So I think that's what I'm going to do instead, even though I've got this strip coming. Yeah. Because I'm going to need to do that regardless. But then I'm going to have wires coming off every single one to be able to read the state of each one. So it's going to be a lot of wires, and I can do it off some type of bus maybe, but then I could stick a Tiny 406 on there, put them all into I2C mode, and that way I could just read them that way. Yes, with auto detection of their... Anyway, whatever. Use the strip for Christmas lighting. I could do that. Opto vanes. Yeah, if I make it as a PCB idea, then it's also something that is reproducible, expandable, and then something that other people could possibly use if they wanted to. So yeah, that's what I'm planning, to be able to slot in and out. I thought about doing micro switches and all sorts of other stuff, but general IR won't work because it needs to be sitting too far on the side. How about feeding the tape in a slot? Feeding a tape in the slot so you know when it runs out. So I don't know what you mean. I'm not looking for when the tape runs out, I'm looking for when I pull a reel off my shelf. So I'm talking about using my MyPart software to say when I'm looking for a particular part, have voice activation that I can say where's 0402 100K, and it blinks a light telling me where it is on my shelf, and I can go and grab it. When I pull it out, it detects that it's gone and marks it as out, right? And then when I want to put it away, I can say something like, replace, same thing, and it'll flash the light and tell me where to put it back in again. I'm making something with tiny 8-bit micro SMB bus and LEDs for those small component boxes. Cool. Yeah, so something like that. I mean, products like this already exist. I saw them in Shenzhen when I was there on my visit. You can buy solutions like this, like racks that all this is pre-made. They even can use NFC, and they've got tags you can put them on. And when you move one from one rack to another rack, it actually moves the stock for you, and because it knows what it is. But they're thousands and thousands of dollars, and I don't need that. And I don't have a place for those racks. I want to fit it into my new shelving system. They come in various focal distances. What come in focal distances? You're talking about the I'm just talking about like the little slot ones. The hang on, let me show you. You all know what I'm talking about, right? Do I have a link to what I was looking at? Probably not. Oh, hang on. I think I do. Right, so these guys here. Or something like this anyway. So surface mount, because I don't want to do through hole. And it just needs to sit to the side. I do have, this is as transparent as they get, but that will still block that. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, it's like I'd have to be completely transparent, I think. All I can do is try it. So, a carousel that could rotate to the correct wall. Yeah, I don't have a place for a carousel, Gary. Like I've built shelves specifically. I showed last week on my stream. Hang on, let me see if I can find the pictures again so you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, this is pretty old now, but so I've got shelves that are designed to fit my, well, not right now they're these racks, but I'll replace these with custom racks that have all the stuff in it. So basically all my reels will sit on the shelf. So this is in my garage along the edge of the pick and place line. I don't have any floor space for a freestanding shelf or a carousel or anything. Yeah, AliExpress is slow. Can you make a PCB like a hair comb? And have the photo interrupter on the gap side. These are my shelves that go into the recess, yes. So they're only sticking out 80mm. It's kind of deceiving to see from that angle. Maybe I've got a better angle. There you go, that's with some other boxes on top. So they stick out 80mm, but they're actually 200mm. So I've got 110 going into the wall. So it gives me storage without sticking out, so I don't smack my head as I walk past. And they're at my head height. That bottom row is at my head height. And they don't stick out any further than my shoulder, so I can walk past there without smacking my head. Yeah, it looked like this before. They're the gaps. And that's when it's, yeah. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. No, electrician's done. That was from ages ago. Yeah, it's all done. All the lights are in. All the ceilings completely finished, including that back section that I spoke about. Oh, right. Yeah, I think might only be my patrons that saw that. Can't remember. Yeah, I don't want to smack my head on the shelves because I'm the guy. If anyone's going to hurt themselves with the shelves, ever, it's me. I'm the guy. I'd also go with an optical sensor mentioned. It can be also estimate the diameter of the spool tape and how much is available. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking at doing. And it can't really work out what is available unless it knows a bunch of other stuff, like what pitch the tape is and whatever. But anyway, like it's... Why? What are we talking about? So you know that these are optical, right? I'm not sure what... So I didn't see what... Look at... OPB, reflective optical sensor. Yeah, no, I don't want those. Why do I want that? How's that going to help me? You're assuming that I can align it in a spot that it's going to be able to go up and detect, and this sitting around it. I mean, sure, I've got stuff like that already here, but why do I want that? I don't get it. But this requires it being directly in the center as well. I don't understand. This would have to be exactly there in the middle to be able to detect, if you wanted to detect how much is left above or whatever else, right? I'm really not sure what... I'm not sure how it's going to make any difference. I want to detect the presence, right? Not the distance or not how much is on there. Have the tail drooping with gravity. What? It doesn't have to protrude, but I need spacing between the reels anyway. Like there's a gap between the reels, and this is tiny. This whole thing is 6 millimeters, right? Well, this is an 8 millimeter reel, and I need to have at least 3 or 4 millimeters between each reel to get them in and out easily of the rack. So there's stacks of space for that. No problem. I've already checked all my measurements. How thick is the rim versus how wide is the slot? But it's a beam. It just needs to break the beam. So, again, I don't see what the problem is here. I mean, the only possible problem is that it might not like the white, opaque-ish, slightly transparent plastic, right? Catch a Fred. Yeah, I always get opinions on how to do it differently and better. A reel back aligned, such as it's between the... But you have to place the reel back aligned. Right, but that's what my holder already does. I have a holder that does that already on my rack. That's the easiest problem to solve out of all of it. That's already solved. It's been solved on all of my... have very little acceptance for offset. Yeah. I think you guys are trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. Use a mechanical switch. Yeah. Right. As I said, I don't want to use a mechanical switch. A mechanical switch won't help me in this particular case. Magnet stickers, Hall of Sixpences. Yes, I have a mechanism already that holds the reels in place when I put them back. Yeah, it's called my reel rack. And I've been using it for years, and it's great. Yeah, that's all solved. That's because I can't do a mechanical switch from the bottom because this is flexible. I can't guarantee it's going to align correctly. And I can't do one from the side unless it's like a limity type switch thing that this can slot into, but then it's too big and bulky. Limit switches are massive. What kind of reel rack do I have? I check my channel. I built a whole bunch. I designed them and made them. It's on my channel. No, I made them myself. I have full control over the design. So attaching electronics to it is super easy. In this case, I'll be redesigning it with the ability to slot the PCB in. Well, I think an optical solution just makes more sense for me, in this case anyway. But then the switch is too big, Azzy. Then I'm going to have the reels this far apart and waste a stack of space because of the switch on the side to get the lever in the right spot. Yeah, again, I've thought all this through, folks. It's like, yeah, I know you're all thinking it through now for the first time, but I've thought all this through. If it's a tiny switch and it's on the bottom, then I can't guarantee the reel's going to sit on it and push it down. I need 100% reliable, not fiddly, There's no need to go a mechanical switch at all. So LED sensor on top bottom of the slot. Leakage between slots. There shouldn't be any leakage between slots. Well, they're going to be 10 mil away from each other. Yeah, shouldn't be any leakage coming out of that, but could be. I don't know. We'll see. There'll be 10 mil up spaced apart from each other. There'll be reels in between, and there'll be acrylic, or maybe some thin MDF in between. Can you zoom in the browser a bit so we can read it? Sure. Don't know what you want to read. What do you want to see? Stick a Bluetooth device on each reel. Yeah. I'll just stick a Wi-Fi. I'll put an ESP32 on each reel. I'll stick a nano on each one. You going? Bye. Okay, my kids are going. Sorry, Flynn was just, yep. Load cells and detect the unique weight of each reel. Yeah. This really is the simplest solution and should work fine. And very easy to test. Really. I don't know, just didn't want to come in. How wide are these sensors? They are 4mm gap. These particular ones. You can get them all different sizes. I'm not saying I'm going to settle on this one specifically, but I might. I'll probably just buy 10 of them. Just try them. They're not overly cheap, but I definitely want surface mount because it needs to sit flush. The PCB needs to sit flush, and they're just easier for me to attach. And I think this is the right size. The Rex you made mentioned the blue, the red ones in the video from 11 months ago. That's the ones. But as I said, I'll have a modified version that'll hold the PCB at the bottom and aligned where the sensor is to the side, and the strip will come forward to an RGB LED at the front. How many mil? Very funny, Ian. I don't know. Hello, HMX. Not even sure of what non-problem. Exactly. It's everyone's trying to fix a problem that isn't there, I don't think. I tell you what, I'll try one, and if it doesn't work, then you can all tell me, I told you so, and we can discuss other options. But, yeah, like, there's no reason why this shouldn't work. As I said, the only thing that might be a problem is the semi-translucent white. But I do have some through-hole ones of these somewhere here in my office. I think 10 or 20 of them. So all I need to do is connect one up to... Actually, I don't even need anything. I could literally just connect it to an ADC and see what happens. See if we can read it. Yeah, all I need to do... I don't need to have a very... I'm not looking for an accurate reading. I'm looking for a yes or a no, a digital, like a 1 or a 0, and it just requires it's a true or a false, right? So the margin could be very small, but it'll still work, hopefully. They don't sit quite flat, so where do they get placed for reliable sensing? What do you mean they don't sit quite flat? What are we talking about? That's why this kind of sensor is wrong, unfit for reels. Why? Because of the type of plastics? Right, they don't sit flat on the board, but the board doesn't have to sit flush. The board can sit lowered. I've got a whole reel rack it can go into, right? That's a mechanical question. Again, super easy to solve. Like, you know what I mean? That's a... Yeah, that won't work either, Mark. Again, like I'm, you know, that might work for a full reel that's heavy enough. Would absolutely not work for this. This is like not even 30 grams. Okay, this is not going to push a micro switch down. This is not going to push the base of a reel holder down to push a micro switch. That's just not going to work, right? And if I have to put the reel in and push the reel hard to make it trigger, and then it lifts up and it thinks it's out again. Anyway, yeah. Once again, I've thought all this through. So that's okay. No, I actually don't have the patience. I'm actually quite impatient, but it's fine. I wouldn't bring stuff up if I wasn't interested in everyone discussing it. Like, I never say, oh, by the way, I'm going to tell you an idea I've got, but please no one talk about it. Like, you're all free to your opinions and suggestions, absolutely. Absolutely. But you just need to keep in mind that I've given you guys 10 minutes to think about it. I've been thinking about it for weeks, right? Like, I've already gone through all the pros and cons of all the different things. I've already looked at all different parts. And I've already discounted a lot of options based on all the issues I can find with them. And the only ones I can find right now, the only two options I can think of right now that are viable are, like's been mentioned, an IR sensor, directional IR sensor, but I think that's got a whole range of its own issues, no less, just different to the slot. But I think the slot is going to be the easiest for me to work with. I think the slot, again, other than potentially the problem with the plastic, but see, so the IR sensor, what makes you think the IR sensor, directional IR sensor, is going to work on a plastic covered tape that isn't flat, that will bounce light back in the wrong direction? What makes you think the signal is going to get back to the sensor? No, well, again, I might do them all with as I2C slaves or SM bus or something. I don't know. Depends on how many. The retroreflective sensor would use the rim, not the tape. No, it won't. No, it won't, because every tape's different. Like, so you're telling me that it's going to get aligned with a 2mm section of this tape that has got stacks of holes in it. Hang on. 2mm tape that's got stacks of holes in it. It's going to miss the cover tape, and it's going to hit... I'm pointing from the wrong side. And it's going to hit the non-cover tape section in a spot that doesn't have a sprocket and accurately bounce it back? Really? No, not on the outside edge. There's no... This has no... This... Okay, yeah. Chris, go grab some reels and have a look at them, mate. No. On an 8mm reel, there is only non-cover tape on one side. And of that one side, we've got 2mm only. And of that 2mm, there are sprockets all the way through. So how am I going to do a directional, accurately 100% every time, directional IR to bounce off that and perfectly hit the sensor coming back again? Not the tape, the reel itself. How am I hitting the reel? Where am I hitting the reel? Sorry. From the side. Wait. So I'm going to put a sensor inside here facing inside. Facing that way. To detect this here, am I? Is that what you're talking about? How's that going to be any different to using the slot? How's that going to work with translucent material? Or directly under the edge? So, wait. So you say a slot won't work, but you want me to align an IR sensor to be up on facing the edge and bounce back off this edge directly back onto it? How's that going to happen? It's got to hit it and bounce back to it. Me calm down? Gary. I don't have to calm down, it's my channel. It works by a different principle, the interrupter. Sure, but it's got a sender and a receiver, and the receiver has to come back to it. I don't understand how it could possibly work off on an edge. I've looked at a whole bunch of retroreflective sensors. Anyway, okay, we need to move on from this. As I said, I've spent weeks on this. I've looked at all different types of sensors. I think by far the slot sensor makes the most sense for me. So with my way, this has to sit inside a 4mm slot. And when I put it back in, that's quite easy to insert. In your way, I need to align this in such a way that the edge is exactly 1 pixel perfect in its position on the rack. And so if I get a reel that comes from LCSC, like many I do, that are bent, see that's bent? Okay, so here it's not bent, and here it's bent. If I put this back in, and I put it back in on the bent side, or I have to go like this, it's going to miss the sensor. That's not accurate. That's error prone. That's screaming for errors. I don't want to measure a few at a time. I only want to measure one at a time. There's going to be one board per slot, correct? That was always the plan. I'm not measuring multi. Multi doesn't help me. One sensor per slot per reel. Doesn't matter how wide the reel is. It's a slot. It could be 12mm, 8mm, 16mm. Well, obviously 16mm is going to be too big, possibly for the rack, but that's okay. The core of the reel, the center of the reel, you're talking about? Spring-loaded pedal. Okay. Detection and of whether a reel is there or not. That's it. That's all I'm doing. See you, Michael. Okay. Yep. Same with me. It's been 2.5 hours. Yeah, I'll show you that, Chris, when it's done and working. I think you all are grasping at straws. I didn't ask you all for a solution. Keep in mind, I've got a solution. And I'm pretty sure it's going to work. And I'm pretty sure it's the best option I've got. What color will the LED? Or there'll be RGB, so they can be any color. I'm thinking, well, I don't know. So there's going to be a flashing indicator when, say, hey, I'm over here. And maybe red when it's out and green when it's in. Well, it doesn't need a color when it's in. The important thing the reason the detection, removal and detection is important for me is so I put the reels back in the right spot, right? I want to load this reel back on, and I want it to flash the position the reel is supposed to go. And when I put it in, the software will go, "Oop, okay, it's been put back in," and it knows it's there, right? That's why. That's why the insert and removal detection is important to me. But it's not imperative. I can do it without it, right? The primary goal is I'm looking for a particular reel. Where is it? Flash, flash, flash. There it is, right? That's the primary goal. Magic pixie dust. Yay! What does the slot the reel fit into look like? What do you mean? What does it look like? I decided to just lose stuff instead. I know, I'm going to need a lot of LEDs on the couch, absolutely. I'm also looking for simplicity, Azzy. Like what you just described then is a really complicated mechanical thing to set up for every single reel position, right? Well, mine's just a PCB with a couple of components on it that gets slotted into a 3D print. So LC8805B. What are LC8805B NeoPixies? What? My storage system, how does it look like? I showed you a picture before, but that's not the one I'm going to be implementing this into. But I've got a video online of my storage racks. I've already got a compressor. Volume per minute is not a thing. It just needs to do 8 bar. It needs to do a minimum of 6.5, which mine does. And I've got a 50 litre tank, and I've got I think it's a 35 litre reservoir that I'm about to pull apart an old compressor. So I'll have about 85 litres all up. So, yeah. Is the plywood slot closed on each side? So I'm not sure what you mean. Have a look. I think Redan found it before. I've got a video of my racks, custom racks. Look up custom reel racks on my channel. Okay, let's wind this up. Thank you all. It's been fun. By the way, who did a super chat before? I missed it. I saw it come up, then I missed it. Was that you, Johnny? Who did the super chat? It was Johnny. Johnny, thank you. Thanks for the I can't say it. I'm going to get in trouble. The 1515 RGB LEDs. I buy mine through a supplier on Ali. I just bought a reel of 5,000 of them. Wow, super expensive, let me tell you. But yeah, there's a few people selling them on Ali. Should be able to find someone on there. But they're not cheap. Okay, bye everyone. Thanks, Wagon Loads. At some point in the future, it's not a priority. In some point in the future, I'll build one of these racks and we'll try it out. But have I finished my crowd supply order yet? But it's not a priority for me right now. Like the real stuff. That can come later. Right now, it's just getting all the reno finished and manufacturing. No Rickroll, I promise. I don't know if I believe him. Okay, bye everyone. Take care. Have a great week. Fingers crossed on the election. Although I don't even know what that means, but you know what I mean. Yep. Oh, and Johnny just did it. Don't click Johnny's link. Don't do it. Anyone spot the human charm low video from Mike Rankin? Really? Am I going to be rickrolled? Hope you don't rickroll me. Anyway, okay. Bye everyone. Take care. Have a great week. See you all next week.